Okay, well, I just saw the new Shutter movie, which was gonna be something else, but I logged on to Shutter today and saw that this was brand new. It's called Find Your Friends. Should have been called Find Your New Friends. I hated this movie. I seriously don't understand the appeal of this movie. Um, I don't understand who this audience is for. The only audience I could think of is like there's supposed to be strong female characters, but all they do is get fucked up and talk about sex, which I don't have a problem with women doing that. Obviously, there's been women in my life that have been that sex positive, you know, getting fucked up kind of people, and they're great. But this was like to an annoying level. Like, I used to say that Eli Roth only directs movies based on the sole fact of having annoying people have sex, party, like the jockey dude, and die. Well, they really listened to that criticism over the years because that's all their characters were. At the very beginning, one of the lead characters, Amber, she ends up getting raped by a frat dude on like a yacht. They say it's a yacht, but it's super small. But I don't know boats. But that affects her throughout the movie, which I'll get back to that in a second. But after that first 5 minutes or so, when that happened, the first 3 or 5 minutes of the movie, there is over an hour of them just partying, and it's just monotonous. It's just everywhere they go get fucked up. And even when I used to get fucked up all the time, I don't want to see a movie about it. And all their dialogue is talking about how they're getting get fucked up and have sex. And it's like real people don't talk like that. And again, you're probably trying to the director or writer of this is probably trying to spread a sex positive message if you really want to look at it like that. But I think it's done very poorly. And even with the character of Amber, who had this tragic event happen to her, her friends act like she's crazy. Because there's at one point she busts the punch bowl over the frat dude's head, which was kind of cool. And then she's just acting very strange, and that something's wrong. Though she doesn't tell her friends, but okay, I've never been in a position that Amber's been in, so I don't know how most people react. But like, if you look at something like Camille Keaton on "I Spit on Your Grave" or um, Jennifer from "I Spit on Your Grave," Camille Keaton, she goes through the stages of post-traumatic like actions that people who have survived rape go through, and it's very realistic and very unsettling, and it's a punch in the face. Even the rape scene is a punch in the face. Obviously it's prolonged like crazy. It's notorious for that. But then you get someone like Amber who's just in a bad mood. I don't think it portrayed the victim as that great. And I don't. But maybe some people act like that. I'm not saying they don't. It's just. It's just. I don't know. Maybe it's because you don't like any of the characters. And honestly, for the most part, you don't even know their names until later in the movie. The setup of this movie is like. It's these girls that go on like a retreat to the desert to get fucked up and party. And that's just all they do. And then a couple of them go missing. And then you find out that there's people behind it, and it's just. And when you find all this out, there's 20 minutes left of the movie. So, with a thin script and just. I don't know, this movie put me in a bad mood. It was not as egregious as the Black Christmas 2019 remake, Because I don't think that this one has as much of a message rather than just like, oh, girls can do what guys can do, which nobody's saying that they can't get fucked up. Everybody can get fucked up. It's pretty easy to. It's not a skill. You're not saying anything by doing it. It's just, and again, if you do that, I don't care. But it's just, I don't know. This was a bad one to wake up to. This was really bad. Most of my notes in this movie, which let me see if I can load them up right now on my computer. No, for some reason my thing's not working to upload them. But a lot of my notes was like, when is something going to happen? When is the plot going to kick in? When does this happen? Like occasionally they throw in like some douchebag guys. There's some guy that looks like Keith Sutherland from the Lost Boys who's like a musician, just without the mullet, sans mullet. And like he's a bad guy, but not really because Amber kisses him and tries to hook up with him, but then like she starts flashing back to the rape and claims that he's the aggressor, and it's just that bar is kind of shitty. Like that's a bad situation to be in, but it's just these characters are so unlikable. Bella Thorne is in this, which I don't remember really what she's been in. I looked it up and I still can't remember. Which I mean, I know she was from Disney Channel. I know she was a Disney Channel actress, singer, whatever. But it's just, I don't know how they thought this was a good idea. And these so-called friends are horrible. When Amber actually admits to him that she got raped, they're not taking it seriously. In every action that happens to Amber, like these guys try to kidnap her and like, other scenarios, they view her as crazy and that you're ruining the party, man. But even even if I was still in my party days and we were hanging out with some girls, the next thing you knew they said something happened, you would take action. Like, even if you didn't know the girl, you would still take action and make sure she's safe and like make sure that the danger is away and scare them away. You wouldn't say like, "Oh no, you're bullshitting, you're just fucked up. You're just trying to ruin our time." What kind of friends are those? That's what irritated me. Like, get yourself some new friends, girl. Find new friends. That's what the movie should be called. And then it should be a spin-off where she goes and finds new friends. And they treat her better. And then shit happens. And then they believe her. And then all this leads up to the ending, which is too little too late, where they're tripping shrooms in the desert. I know, big surprise, getting fucked up. But the two girls that are missing, they find out that these guys are behind it, and they run them off the road by pepper spraying them in the eye when they're driving, and they flip and they get knocked out. She grabs one of them and takes them back to the Airbnb where they're staying and ties them up and tries to ask them for questions, and they kind of torture him, even though the torture is very lackluster. I mean, they cut his dick off, but I mean, that was expected. I knew that was going to be part of it from the moment this movie started, that one aggressor is going to get his dick cut off. Because that is so played out at this point. And again, it comes too little too late. And they set up all these red herrings on who the bad guy is. And it kind of, I know when I spit on your grave, you can argue the point of like, all the guys in this town are bad. Even the mentally challenged guy is an aggressor. But this one, it's just, you know what? It kind of reminds me of a shitty version of that movie Revenge from a few years ago or 10 years ago. Whenever that was. Where the girl's at that really rich dude's house. She gets raped and thrown in the desert or off a cliff or something, and she survives. She gets revenge. It kind of reminds me of that, but with like more females and not as not as good. Even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Revenge, but I could still see the good aspects of it. The filmmaking was actually good on that, where this one is not at all. It's all handy cam. And I was telling my mom and I were watching this, and I was telling my mom this. Unless you have some disease that makes you shake, you do not look at your life like this. You just you don't view that's not how you view things. So why is it that hard to put the camera on some sticks and just shoot it straight? Because I'm not the person that gets like motion sickness with handy cam and like found footage. I'm really not. There's been some exceptions where that has really bothered me, but it's just I don't know. This movie was bad, man. It was bad. The last Shutter movie I watched was Whistle, and I think Whistle was better than this. And I didn't even like Whistle. But Whistle was like almost comedically stupid. This was just boring, man. And just with really unlikable characters because like in this type of movie, you shouldn't be rooting for the bad guy to come in. Especially with a subject matter like this. But I was like, okay, when is he coming in? Because at least that's a character that I don't identify with, but at least we'll have some character behind it. Versus these girls that really have no structure behind their character. They're just very one note and real shitty to each other. And just real shitty to everybody. And I don't want to follow somebody like that. That's why for a while there, I didn't like a lot of Eli Roth movies. Now, as a director, I think, and he started to get some co-writers on his stuff, which have helped his scripts be less douchebaggy. But this movie doesn't do it, man. I think even if you want like a girl power, like girl boss kind of movie, I think you would not even like this. Like it's almost a parody of. It had more parody of this type of movie than Scary Movie 6 did. Which I like that movie better than this one. Like it was only an hour and a half. Well, with the credits, like probably an hour 20 because it has like 10-minute credits. And then oh God, it was just so much padding. Like an hour of it goes by with nothing but partying and like a couple scuffles between people. Just just not a good. That's it. It was miserable. And I'm about to go leave and do an early Dad's Day thing with my dad because I don't know when I'm going to be off next. But man, hopefully that puts me in a better mood because man, I'm in a shit mood because of that movie. So, so just to let you know, you can skip this one. And I wish I watched the other one. And I forget what the title of that one was, but the other one I was gonna watch was like these high schoolers defending themselves against zombies in a high school. That could have been fun. A lot. I know for a fact it's gonna be better than this one. So maybe I'll review that too. You get a double take, and then Monday I'm off, so we're gonna go see the new Spielberg movie, the new Alien Spielberg movie, Decision Day, or what? Diversion Day, whatever that movie's called. I can't remember. I saw a trailer for it when I saw Backrooms, and it looked interesting. The runtime kind of scares me, but that'll be okay. So don't watch this. Stay away from it. Even if you have Shutter, it's not even like so bad it's good. You will get annoyed and you will question a lot of things. And the way it portrays women, I think, is very insulting. And the way that it handles a traumatic situation like a rape is very insulting. And overall, I can't believe that somebody like wanted to make this because I don't know what the script looked like because for an hour there it's just partying with very little dialogue Except for let's get fucked up. God, I'm tired of that fucking thing. I'm so tired of that. Just every low budget like horror movie now. And this has been, I know this has been a thing since the 80s. I'm fully aware of that. But where in the 80s, like one of my favorite examples to use is like Friday the 13th, like the first few. Let's say up until like final chapter. They were likable characters. Especially like Teddy and Jimbo from the final chapter are incredibly likable. They're horn dogs. They want to have sex. Teddy's smoking weed. They're there to party and drink and have fun, but they're likable. They're incredibly likable. And like even in part 3, I like like that older hippie couple that's with them for some reason. Shelly the jokester is so lovable. Just the cast in those movies and how it was written. Say what you will about the movies themselves, at least they wrote likable characters that you could follow and have some attachment to. I don't know who would attach themselves to these characters and say, oh yeah, that's me. That's me right there. Because I don't want to hang out with that person. Because you're a douchebag. So, I'm going to end this before I keep going on more tangents. This irritates me. Another one with good characters. The Burning. Or even, okay, let's say Sleepaway Camp. The first Sleepaway Camp, for example. Or even the second one. There's unlikable characters, but you still kind of like them because they're unlikable. Like Judy and Meg in Sleepaway Camp, and then even Sleepaway Camp 2, you have Allie. Like, those are bad characters, but you like the fact that they're bad characters. That are mean and horrible to the lead. But these are just all around, nobody's redeemable. And just no character, and just, ugh. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop before I ramble, because I got to leave here soon. I got to get ready, so. Until next time, guys, like, subscribe, follow for more. See ya.